As usual, it's been a bit since I filmed one of these. What can I say? I am like really busy. Oh, what is this? Guys, the fear of when I log on to my computer and then my own video starts playing, not fun. Okay, hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is going to be me reacting to your period horror stories part 12. I know guys, next time we do one of these, it's gonna be Taylor Swift's lucky number. But for now, it's part 12 and I am really excited. I haven't done one of these in a little bit. I think I did this like, at least my community tab is saying 6 months ago I did part 11, and I know that you guys love this series, so I'm really excited to react to your embarrassing, crazy, insane period horror stories. Doing this actually gives me life. Like, I don't know if that's evil to say, but it really just makes me like, wow. I'm sort of a caffeine addict and this is my second caffeinated drink of the day, but it's matcha, not coffee, so like it doesn't feel like it's my second one. Anyway, I have my matcha here to accompany me while I read these. And you guys did not disappoint. You left me with a ton, so as usual, I'm not going to be able to get to all of them, but definitely feel free to comment your period horror stories down below, and also look out for the community tab post that should be up right now once this video goes up for part 13, which I'm really excited to film because Taylor Swift. So anyway, let's get to reading. When I was younger, I took swimming lessons at my local swim center because I was working up to be on a swim team. I got my period the day before my lesson. Keep in mind, I got my period extremely early. I think I was 8 at the time. So my mom called the swim center, unsure of what to do about it because we had tried tampons and I was uncomfortable using them. Real. A woman answers the phone and I kid you not, she tells my mom, hang on, and starts laughing with her co-workers. And she was on speaker so I could hear everything that they were saying. My mom even reported the situation because she was being so rude about it and was told, oh, it's fine. So let's just say I was mortified and embarrassed and never took swim lessons again. Okay, so like that is the most unprofessional thing I've ever heard. What was wrong with those people? I don't blame you, but I'm so sorry that that scared you out of swimming, because what? The lighting is really bad. That's a little better. One time when I was in history, I had the teacher that everyone literally fears. I had really bad cramps, so I shifted in my seat, but then I felt it. Not just the Niagara Falls happening, but the fact I had sat weirdly and my loose white underwear with my pad on them wasn't underneath me anymore. I was too scared to move just in case it triggered anything else, but I didn't ask my teacher to use the bathroom because she literally doesn't let you do anything. If you took a drink of water, she would confiscate the bottle and give you detention. I really cannot stand teachers like that. Thank God I'm out of high school. So I just sat there for the next half an hour. When I stood up, I saw a small puddle of blood on the chair with a clot on the chair, and the girl next to me saw it and pushed my chair under the table quickly and gave me a pad, but it doesn't stop there. So after that, we went to vote for school council and I had PE after that. The PE changing rooms have a bathroom, so I went and changed my pad into the overnight pad she gave me. But just when I thought it was all over, when I sat down to change out of my uniform and stood up, the blood from before was on my tights and it left a red spot on the bench. The white underwear were no longer white though. Moment of silence for my favorite underwear. Let's give these underwear a big moment of silence. Luckily, no one saw and I made it to the end of the day without leaking after that. This was my second period and my 13th reason. I'm kidding. I really love the ending of that. Very funny. I need to watch 13 Reasons Why. That is horrifying. I do not miss having my period at school. That is truly wow. So I was on vacation with my dad on New Year's and I started my period the day before New Year's. Not my first period and I wasn't due for it, of course, because whenever you're not due for your period, that's when it's like, yeah. I was hanging out with my friends and I felt something. I rushed to the bathroom and it looked like a crime scene. I did leak on my chair and my pants that were light blue. It's always the light colored pants. Luckily I had pads, so I sprinted to my tent to change my pants and put on a pad. My friends saw but were cool about it, but it gets worse. I had such a heavy period and I had to go swimming. I had no idea where to put my swimsuit on, thinking it would be fine, and rushed to the water. Bad idea. When I get out of the water, there was blood dripping down my leg and we were there with my crush and he saw everything. And I also ran out of period supplies and had to tell my dad. I was so embarrassed. That's just such a horrible combination. Swimming, light clothes, your crush, your dad, like genuinely your period could not have picked a worse time. So this was about a month ago. I was at school and I was on my period. This happened to be my heaviest flow yet. So basically I was walking to 6th period and one of my friends stopped me in the hallway. She asked me, are you on your period? I said, yeah, why? Turns out that I had leaked through my black leggings and I was wearing a hoodie that went over my butt and leaked through my blue hoodie. Okay, I was gonna say, how did you see that through your black leggings? That must have been a heavy period to go all the way through the leggings, your underwear first, and then the hoodie, and there was a giant stain. The worst part is I don't even know how long the stain was there, and I don't know how many people saw it and didn't tell me. That is like my worst nightmare. But I'm so glad my friend told me, and luckily I just rolled up my hoodie and it was fine, but it was so embarrassing. Honestly, your friend is such a real one for telling you. That is absolutely mortifying. I was 15 and it was my first time sleeping at my boyfriend's house. We were in bed watching TV and talking when his little sister came into his room, got on the bed and asked me to play with her. After a while of playing together with her toys, I felt it. I love how like like you guys all describe it the same way. It's just really funny to me. I didn't know what to do as he had white sheets. Of course he did. And I had nothing with me as I wasn't expecting to get my period for another week. I managed to get him and his sister out of the room by asking them to get me a drink. I got up and it was all over my pajamas and his bed sheets. We'd only been together a few months and I managed to not be on my period every time I saw him. I tried to clean it up with cold water and some toilet roll, and that obviously didn't work and left little bits of wet tissue on his bed sheets. I had no spare pajamas either. Why is this reminding me of the scene in Friends where Ross gets stuck in those leather pants and then like just makes the situation worse with like soap and lotion or something? I was embarrassed. I just sat on his bed and cried. He came back with my water I asked for but didn't want and was so confused as to why I was crying. I explained everything. He ran me a bath, gave me his sweatpants, and changed the bedding. We're 19 now and still together, so it clearly didn't put him off that badly. In fact, 4 years later, and we just laugh about it more than anything. That is really sweet. But like, that is such a horrifying situation, but like at least this one has a happy ending. Yeah, I'm happy for you guys. So for context, I do shows with the place I take my acting classes, and we were doing The Little Mermaid. I was in the ensemble, and one of the roles I had was a sailor with white pants, white shoes, and a white and navy blue striped shirt. So perfect opportunity for your period to come and sabotage you. So one performance, I am going about my normal pre-show prep, makeup, warm-ups, etc. when I feel a tap on my shoulder. One of the boys in my show told me to go to the bathroom. I was really confused but went anyway. Then I found out that I had a red stain on the back of my white pants, a little on my shirt, and a little spot on my white shoes. How did it spread everywhere? Whilst I was panicking about what to do, they said that that show was starting in 5 minutes, so everyone had to be downstairs. I ended up telling my friend's mom, who was in charge of costumes, and she told me to just go on the stage anyway. So I had to open the show with my red stained pants, shirt, and shoes. And to make it worse, I found out later they were recording the show so that we could have a video of it for later. So now everyone has a video of me dancing and acting in my period stained clothes. Well, I would say like at least no one probably remembers it, but it's literally documented for everyone to remember, so that's unfortunate. So once when I was 12, I was at a furniture store with my parents and little brother because we needed a new couch. My parents were taking forever to pick out a couch, so I decided to sit on a random white chair. My brother sat on the chair that was next to mine. I was just chilling and looking at my phone when I happened to sneeze and felt it. If you know, you know. So I shot up out of the chair to see a huge blood stain on the white chair. I was probably bleeding for the whole hour I was sitting on that chair. An hour. I hadn't been expecting my period because I had only just recently gotten it and it was very irregular. Seeing the stain, I let out a little squeal because I realized I was wearing my favorite pants, my blue Lululemon flare leggings. Because of my squeal, my brother got up and saw my stain and started screaming in horror, shouting, "My sister is dying!" That immediately got everyone in the whole store's attention and everyone saw the giant stain. After all of that embarrassment, the store made us buy the chair, and to this day, because of whatever weird materials it's made of, we cannot get the stain out. It's not even a good chair, and RIP to my only Lululemon item, my favorite blue flare leggings. That is absolutely horrifying, and now you can't even give the chair away because when I was visiting a college for my older sister, I was on the heaviest day of my period, so day 2. And yes, I was prepared, or so I thought, by wearing the longest pad. We got off the shuttle and when I stood up, I felt wet on my upper thigh. This concerned me because that shouldn't be where I feel that, but I kinda ignored it. About an hour later, I went to the restroom to find I had bled through a spot on my underwear my pad didn't cover. There was a red spot on my shorts, but it wasn't too noticeable. I thought a tampon would help, but for some reason, I didn't pack any. And I was too scared to ask anyone for a tampon, and I walked around campus that day bleeding and sweating in the hot sun. Not fun. So all I'm thinking about is like actually sweating in heat on your period, because like that's even worse than bleeding through for me. I would have gotten just so like, don't talk to me. It started with horrible cramps in the middle of a school assembly, but I thought I could handle it. Halfway through I sneezed and I instantly felt a huge gush. I was wearing light jeans. I panicked and tried to cover it with my hoodie, but when I stood up my pants were done for. As I was trying to sneak out, someone behind me accidentally stepped on my hoodie and yanked it off. The entire row turned and looked. I just stood there bright red with the world's most obvious blood stain on my jeans. To make it worse, the teacher actually came over with a mic and asked if I was okay because she thought I had hurt myself. Everyone thought I was bleeding from a wound and started freaking out. I was like, no, it's fine, and literally ran out of the auditorium while people were trying to get the nurse. I never showed my face at another assembly again. That is just like all the attention on you in a moment you really don't want any attention on you. Me and my family had a beach day. I was on my period but don't wear tampons yet, so I wore my black swimsuit over period underwear. It was my mom's idea. I was very skeptical. We got there and me and my sister went in the sea to jump in the waves. Everything was fine until about 10 minutes later when my sister says, "Soph, what's that red stuff?" I looked down to see blood dripping all down my legs, and if you know, then if you mix water and blood, then well, yeah. So you literally had like a red sea coming out of you. Our beach tent was so far away from the water and I had to awkwardly run from the sea there while my mom held a towel around me. There was one toilet far down the road, and so I had to awkwardly waddle there and somehow dry myself and put on a pad. It was an interesting day. Yeah, that sounds like my worst nightmare, not just an interesting day, but I like the way you described that. Okay, here's my embarrassing story. So last year I went swimming with my boyfriend and his family for his birthday. We had fun, got out of the pool, and changed our clothes. My cycle is very heavy on the 1 to 3 days. I put on my shorts and not even 10 minutes later, blood everywhere. His mom pulled me to the side and told me I had blood all on the back of my shorts and to get my towel and cover up. I was so embarrassed, but his family took good care of me. We went to the store and got me some wipes and new clothes. My boyfriend comforted me, so I no longer felt embarrassed. By the way, we're still together. I feel like these period horror stories really have a way of like showing, like, I don't know, if like a guy's a good guy and like then you guys always end up staying together. Like, I really love that. Okay, so last summer I was on holiday in Germany and I knew I was gonna get my period during the trip, so I packed a bunch of pads. But I ended up getting through a lot of them, and by day 4 I was almost out. Then when I woke up on day 5, there was nothing on the pad, so I decided to just not wear one because it was the last full day of the trip anyway. Famous last words. I was totally fine until about halfway through the day when I felt a drip when we were walking around. I was really stressed that I was gonna leak, but I had on 2 pairs of underwear and I decided to just forget about it. About 2 hours later, we stopped at a restaurant to eat and I knew I had to go to the bathroom. When I went in, I realized that both of my pairs of underwear were soaked with blood. Luckily, I had a pad on me, so I took off the worst covered pair of underwear and put it in a little plastic bag and then in the sanitary bin, and I wrapped up the second pair with toilet paper and put on the pad. Thank goodness I was fine and it didn't leak through my jeans, but at least I learned never take off the pad in the middle of your period. Yeah, that's a lesson I learned early on because it always somehow ends up in a period horror story. So this was at my first school dance. So I was in the gym for the dance and I had felt something in my underwear, but I just ignored it. Huge mistake. But anyway, I was dancing with my best friend, and also this was my first period and I was wearing an all-white dress, and my crush walked by and saw a huge blood stain on my dress. So crush, first school dance, huge blood stain. Yeah, this is a horror story. So he pulled me out of the gym and told me. I was freaking out and he helped me calm down, and I got help from my best friend. It gets worse. After the dance, I had a sleepover with my friend, and when I went there, I was sitting in her lap, not in a weird way, and I bled through on her leg. But luckily she was okay about it, but the thing is that she fainted. Oh no. I was freaking out and I felt so bad that I started crying and had a panic attack, but she helped me out. By the way, me and her are now best friends and me and my crush are now dating. How do these horror stories always have like the best happy endings? And the last period horror story I'm going to read is this one. I was with my best friend, and prior I had spotting on my birthday in April and in May, but for like 1 day. I guess it was my period, but I didn't really think anything of it. Anyway, we were watching a horror movie and we saw an ad for a period quiz to see when you get it. So we decided to take it, and mine said like 8 months. Fast forward, the next day we were at an outside mall and my stomach was hurting a lot. When I got home, I was about to go to my other friend's pool and I was in the bathroom. When I opened my phone, the period quiz tab was still open, so I decided to take it again. This time it said 1 year. I looked down, blood everywhere. The test lied, it was actually 5 seconds. That is so funny. So we switched the hangout to my house and we got boba. At the boba shop they had pads, so I took mine off, but they were ginormous. So I left with nothing on and bled through my shorts. Well, that just sounds like the perfect period horror story. Bleeding through, pads that don't fit, and an unpredictable test that really sabotaged you. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching it. I really hope you enjoyed. As usual, if you did not get your period horror story read in this video, go comment it under the community tab post for part 13 to have a chance to have it read in part 13, which will be the next part of this series. And also feel free to binge the whole series. I have a whole playlist on my channel, parts 1 through 12 as of now. And thank you guys for having the bravery to share these period horror stories and the most vulnerable moments of your lives. It really gives me this appreciation that you guys trust me with these. Before you leave, please make sure to like this video and also comment down below excited for part 13, because I am going to try to upload it without having a 6-month break in between the parts for next time. And also please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more period related videos and to continue watching this series on my channel. And yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching it, and I love you guys. Bye!